I'm here with Denise Lamb, who is Manager of Youth Services at Kingston Youth Shelter and Transitions. Hi, Denise.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, we've been sort of playing email tag for a while,
Yeah,
trying to set this
yeah,
up, so we were ultimately successful.
there we go.
So just first of all, before we get into anything to do with COVID-19, for those who don't know and aren't familiar with your operation, what is it that you do under normal circumstances?
So our youth shelter is a 15-bed home on Brock Street, 234 Brock Street. And that's an emergency shelter for anyone that's experiencing homelessness for many reasons. I sadly, it's mostly not anything to do with them. So they come to the shelter. Some are still going to school, some work, some volunteer, and we have a housing worker that helps them get housing, and we have a family mediator that helps mediate families before they come to the shelter. So they have a 95% success rate. That means that 95% of those kids that have been in contact did not end up at the shelter. So we're really trying to make sure that families get the support that they need to have a successful, life. Home life. It's difficult. We don't come with a handbook raising teenagers, and anybody that has teenagers knows that. I do have to say that most of the kids that we've had, since 1999, you'd be proud to have as your own. They've just done amazing. And the privilege for me is I get to see that because I've been there since the beginning. And so a lot of the kids are in their 40s or late 30s, and incredible. They've graduated from high school, went on to post-secondary. Some have their own businesses. They own their own homes. They've just,
Wow.
it's amazing. So bravo, Kingston.
Yeah, and the community has certainly supported you for a long
Uh,
time now.
yeah,
So
it's just a bit routine and life skills. Incorporate some love, fun, and life skills, and you have a successful kid.
I know one of the things that parents who have their children are home now and not in school
Yeah.
are wondering what to do with the kids, and of course. We can have some suggestions, teach them how to balance a checkbook, teach them how to check the
Yeah.
tires on the car,
Yes.
how to cook, for heaven's
Yes.
sake,
That's what we do. We do that. That's well, not the tires, but there are kids that know how to do that. But that's all about that. Sew on a button. Don't throw out your shirt. Just sew on a button. And they do their laundry. They have to do a chore each day. So learning how to clean, have a clean bedroom. So once a week they do their bedding. They do their own laundry. They cook, and they do everything that they can carry on into their own home. Yeah. Now that's the youth shelter, so it's but then you go to transitions, and it's really heavy duty life skills and counseling. So
cool.
they've yeah.
Now, of course, that's under normal circumstances, and these
Hmm.
are far from normal
Yeah.
times. What are some of the challenges that you have faced during this pandemic with these kids?
Well, we're flying by the seat of our pants too. None of us has ever experienced this. The city of Kingston leased out the old AMHS apartment building. So we're at 113 and a half Union Street. That we moved, we it was in a day. We moved down there, and so they could self-isolate. So what does that look like? Well, we've never done that either. And the self-distancing, everything. And if you have kids, you know that you like to hug them. And I hug all these kids. I hug them all. That's probably for me the biggest challenge. So they had to, agree, and they all did come, that they would, stay in. So we didn't self-isolate at those kids, but they weren't allowed to go out. So the United Way called immediately and said, what do the kids need? And so they provided um, cell phones to use, iPads, we have TVs, some have had game systems donated. So that saved us. That and chocolate milk. The United Way had connections with chocolate milk. I'm not kidding. That I mean, it was some of these kids. This is a dream come true. There's no expectations, right? So they're expected to stay in. We provide all of the meals, snacks. We provide everything. Because they obviously cannot go out. So the United Way again they have all these connections, and so we've gotten so much. The community has I I can't describe how amazing our city is. So it really, you know, I think that because there's no expectations on the kids, except, normal respect um, stuff, and we've had no issues with that, is that we're having so much fun because what else do you do? You don't have to tell them to go out and get a job, right? Some of them had been employed and they're no longer working because those companies closed down. So we have fun. We cook. They play games. Um, we just laugh a lot. We just really do. Is actually really quite hilarious, a lot of this stuff. Because initially you go in and it was so depressing, maybe 10 minutes and like, oh my God. But we explored the building and we, made up stories and just really, we laugh a lot. So then we had then we started, so that week that we moved in, we didn't have any new intakes because we didn't know what the heck we were doing. And we only had mattresses on the floor, cot mattresses. We had nothing. Now, the United Way um, helped us with all of that. They have beds and good mattresses, not cot mattresses. Um, so the rooms, and they have their own bathroom in each room. So they just need to come out. There's 2 shower rooms. They can come out and have a shower. But they've been really successful in doing that 14 days. I kudos to them. And I mean, and not any kind of, um, people getting really angry or really, really sad. I think that this has come out in such an amazing, positive way. Well, where the healing is being done and they don't even realize because it's not in that kind of setting. So for me to watch that magic happen, it's unbelievable. And then the community, when they call or email at you know, caring about our kids too. So that makes a huge difference. So we are just making sure that they're safe. They're safe, they're happy, and they're loved. And that's it.
No, that's really great. And at first, like in the article that I read, you were quarantining them, isolating them for 14 days, and that started in March. Are you still doing that? Is it still the same group of kids, or do you get more
Oh,
coming through?
so we've had I think 5 around that time, but we've had some come and go. Luckily, with our family mediator too, they've been very helpful. And families, parents, and caregivers have always called the shelter. So we can support them and say, you look at, you're doing a great job. This is a hard, hard job. When to step back and take a breath for yourself. Parents need to have self-care too and not feel like they're failing at everything. They're not. They're doing everything right, or they wouldn't be actually calling, I think. So um, kudos to the parents that are doing the homeschooling and all of that. um, I I can't, I can't imagine. So they the new ones come in and they have to do their 14 days. So they do their time, and then they come out. So we are very careful about meeting in the halls and everything. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But so far we've been really lucky. We've been really lucky with the kids that have you know really listened to us. That you can't be hanging out together, but you will be. So that again is, you want to bring their meals and everything, and give them options, and They're getting fed really, really well. And if you're a gamer, this is a dream come true. There's no expectations except to game, I guess. So, yep, I
All day
know,
long.
I know. So there you go. And so that shift, the old way, we did have a lot of fun too, because that's the biggest. Safety and fun is for me the biggest thing. So a lot comes out of that, and cooking. I love cooking with them. So there's expectations. There's expectations that you're going to look for housing. There's expectations that you are going, if you're under 18, you have to leave and go to school. You can't return until 2:30. And then looking for volunteer. I'm a big believer in volunteer work, um, and employment. So we set them up with Restart is one that they tend to go to, but we're not doing any of that.
Hmm.
So we're really just focusing on them, right, and nothing else. So for me, this COVID thing has turned into a blessing for a lot of them.
Hmm.
Like honestly,
What can people do who are watching who might want to help? What can they do, and can they go to get more information?
well, certainly they can always call us, and ask staff what we need. But the United Way has given us a budget for not only the shelter but our transition homes, because the transition homes, they all work. They all pay for a program fee, and they all pay for their own groceries. So then their jobs were, no longer. And again, we had to have self isolate there, and so we provided everything for them too. The United Way stepped in and gave us a food budget for over there, and Elmwood has its own. So we've been, and in the community, they're making homemade meals and baked goods and bringing them. So they really have supported us.
We wish you the best of luck, and give a 6 foot distant fist bump to all the kids, and let them know that that we here at URTV care about them and about the community, and it's great work that you're doing there. So thanks again. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too. And you know what? I can't stress how much this does mean to the kids, because it's not just us in the agency that are loving them, but when they see people like you and people donating, they really, I swear, they're feeling it, and that helps us out a lot too. It just lifts everybody up. So thank you, and please be safe.